Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown Mixed Match Challenge and 205 Live results for this week, October 16th. Well, here we go. We got birthdays. Two birthdays. Justin Credible was born 1973, and Kenny Omega, the Omega Man X on Twitter. He was born 1983. Variety reports that John Cena is set to star in another movie. It's a comedy called Playing with Fire. From Paramount Players, the family comedy movie will focus on a group of rugged firefighters who meet their match when they rescue a trio of rambunctious kids. No word yet on when the filming will begin or when the movie will be released, but I'll keep you updated as soon as I get the news. Indie wrestler who played the Conquistador on last night's Raw, playing the part of Kurt Angle as in the masked Conquistador from Raw in Philadelphia, was named Bill Bain. He lost to the Authors of Pain in a handicap match, which was supposed to be Hall of Famer Kurt Angle under the mask. One of the security guards that the Bella Twins sent to face off with Royal Rumble champion Ronda Rousey was Icarus from Chicago Pro fame. Hall of Famer DDP is back working with talents at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando this week. As seen in the link, all the people in the video were doing the sign. You know, the feel the bang. I can go into that link. The photo includes former Ring of Honor TV champion Punishment Martinez confirming his WWE signing. And WWE released a video of a rapper, Bodie, dropping more than 80 WWE references in a new tribute to WWE SmackDown and SmackDown 1000th episode of this link. U.S. Bank Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio is now advertising Rey Mysterio versus U.S. Champion Shinsuke Nakamura for the big WWE Starrcade live event on Saturday, November 24th, the week of Thanksgiving. Spoiler, since Rey defeated Shinsuke non-title on SmackDown on tonight's taping. No word yet on if Starrcade will air on the WWE Network. But here's the updated card for the event, courtesy of the area website. Steel cage match for the WWE title, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. Steel cage match for the WWE SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte versus Becky. U.S. title match, Rey Mysterio versus Shinsuke Nakamura. SmackDown tag titles, New Day versus The Bar. Cincinnati Street Fight, Braun Strowman and Raw Tag Team Champions, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre versus The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Elias performs a special concert with Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Appearances by Finn Balor, Alexa Bliss, Miz, Rusev, Sasha Banks, Bobby Lashley, and others. Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton and U.S. Champion Shinsuke Nakamura is advertised for next Monday's live event in White Plains, New York. Samoa Joe versus AJ is also advertised, as Samoa Joe was not on SmackDown at all, as they were advertising it in a match. Senor Benjamin is featured in Matt Hardy's latest Woken Word of the Week video at this link. And the word is verdict. And Matt tweeted on Twitter, retweet and repeat. This week's hashtag Woken Word, guest starring the unimpeachable hashtag Senor Benjamin at Benjamin Senior. WWE, Charlotte Flair, and WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair are still being sued by Charlotte's ex-husband, Ricky Paul Johnson, according to TMZ. Ricky claims Charlotte defamed him in the Second Nature book that was the WWE released on the Flairs in September 2017, written by Rick and Charlotte. Ricky claimed that the Flairs wrote negatively about his relationship with Charlotte, falsely stating that he is sterile and incapable of fathering children. The two were married from 2010 to 2011 before Charlotte signed with WWE in 2012. Ricky is seeking more than $5 million in damages. He says his allegations in the book have humiliated his family including his 3 children. He also claims the book includes multiple false allegations, physical and or psychological abuse. And he says that he could prove this with police reports and dash cam footage. Ricky also says that the players wrongly claimed he was fired from 2 jobs to illicit drug use. Ricky's suit claims that he was intentionally painted as a bad guy as a way to make Charlotte seem like a victim who overcame personal adversity and domestic abuse. Ricky named WWE in the suit because he claims they were involved in the marketing of the book. TMZ reached out for comments and received none from Rick, but WWE issued the following statement. We recently received what appears to be a meritless lawsuit, and we will vigorously defend ourselves. It looks like WWE will become a player in the ongoing diplomatic and proxy conflict between Qatar and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the place where the next pay-per-view in November will be. From what have you? Wrestle Talk recently reported a WWE World Cup tournament being held at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, has to do with Saudis being upset over Qatar landing the 2022 FIFA World Cup of Soccer. The Saudis reportedly wanted the Soccer World Cup, but did not bid on it and couldn't get it. So they went to WWE to hold their own World Cup of Wrestling at Crown Jewel, according to the report. The issues between the Kingdom and Qatar go back to the mid-1990s, but have escalated in the past few years as the 2 countries fight for power in the region. The conflict is often referred to as a second Arab Cold War, and there now appears that there is a WWE-related chapter to add to his theory books. It's worth noting that there were no mentions of Saudi Arabia on last night's Raw episode, but WWE plugged the Crown Jewel event throughout the show, but never mentioned it taking place in Saudi Arabia, as they did on SmackDown quite a few times. Also noted, WWE officials are bound and determined to hold the event in Saudi Arabia on Friday, November 2nd, and that's likely not going to change. Sports Illustrated Justin Barrasso posted an article titled WWE Talent is Uncomfortable with Saudi Arabia. Show, and they should be. In his piece, Barrasso made his case for why, considering the current political climate, WWE should pull out of their planned Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia. Including in his editorial was insight from anonymous sources on the talent roster that have expressed discomfort with the idea of performing in Saudi Arabia. Probably mostly women, because women are not allowed to compete. Wrestling Inc. reached out to WWE in regards to the rumored discomfort among some talents. WWE responded with the following. As always, we maintain an open line of communication with our performers, and we continue to monitor the situation. As WWE is setting its sights on returning to Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel on November 2nd, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry Lawler was at the announce table for the first show in Jeddah this past April on a recent episode of the After Chat with Bill Apter and Joseph Chernoff. Lawler made it clear that he is still working with WWE, and his next appearance will be at tonight's SmackDown 1000 show. I'm still here, Lawler stated. Look, I'm just waiting for them to call me. I got a call from them the other day, and they want me on SmackDown 1000. They just announced that the second Saudi Arabia trip that I was on last year, the flight was tough. While the interview was recorded before the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi, there was already controversy with the event, as it will mark the second straight time that women will not be allowed to wrestle on the card. Lawler said that he feels that will eventually change. So there's still time, like 2 weeks, to get something going for a Saudi Arabia show for the women talent. I think it's good. It's good, in fact, that it is helping bring out change, Lawler said. I think that eventually, if we keep going, that women will be allowed to go. I didn't really think that women were going to be allowed at the show, but I was so shocked that they wanted to be so westernized. They want to be like we are, but I think that is deep-seated religious leaders that they're still somehow in power. But I think as time goes on, and I think that women wrestling in Saudi Arabia, going to change. Former WWE champion JBL often appears on Fox business programs to talk business, but today he was on Varney and Company to defend his former employer as they face mounting criticism over their working relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and upcoming WWE Crown Jewel event. Varney cited the recent Sports Illustrated report that statement from some talents are uncomfortable with the performing in the Kingdom after the recent disappearance of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. As noted, the Turkish government claims that they have evidence that Khashoggi was kidnapped, tortured, and murdered inside the Saudi consulate in that country. From what I understand, yes, it is taking place, JBL said. The idea is that WWE is going to go there. Right now, the official line is that they are monitoring the situation. My personal opinion is that they should go. I think that the only way to promote change, look what we did with Cuba. You isolate a country, and all you do is improvise, impoverish that country. You want to promote change? WWE went to Abu Dhabi, did the first women's match that ever happened in the Middle East, and the crowd was chanting in English, "This is change." As well as JBL also defended WWE against Republican and Democratic senators who expressed concern over the relationship with the Saudis. For these senators to come and bash on WWE on this, I spent 7 Christmases in Iraq and Afghanistan with WWE. JBL continued, I was with the WWE, first group to go down and visit the Twin Towers while they were still burning and bodies were being pulled out. We were the first group on 9/13 to have a mass gathering. Right after 9/11, people didn't know what was going to happen. For these guys to hide behind their patriotism and their flag waving to me to try and improve their abysmal approval ratings, to me, is wrong. WWE has been at the forefront of change, and if you want to change Saudi Arabia, you send something like WWE there. NJPW Super Jr Tag League results began with this year's 8-team tournament being round robin style as opposed to the usual single elimination. The finals featuring the top 2 teams will take place at Power Struggle on November 3rd. At NJPW World on Twitter says it at CMLL Soberano Tornillo Attack hashtag NJP World, and you can watch that at njpworld.com. October 16th results. Toa Hideo, Shota Umino, and Ren Narita defeated Ayato Yoshida, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Uemura. Hiro Tanahashi, Togi Makabe, and Tomoaki Hanma defeated Kota Ibushi, Yujihiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens. Bullet Club defeated Chaos. Tachi Ishimori and Robbie Eagles defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Tiger Mask for the Super Junior Weight Tag League. Volador Jr. and Soberano Jr. defeated Ryusuke, Taguchi, and ACH for the Super Junior Tag League. Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Desperado defeated Kushida and Chris Sabin for a Super Junior Tag League match. And Bushi and Shinago Takagi defeated Sho and Yo, Warrior Super Junior Tag League. Part 1, and then Mr. Larry Toke, who also comments in NJPW news and what have you, Last of the Dragon at Takagi_Shingo at NJPW at NJPST. NJPW's next show will be tomorrow. No results yet posted. And the next set of tournament matches, Tiger Mask and Jushin Thunder Liger versus Supernova Jr. and Volador Jr. ACH and Ryusuke Taguchi versus Robbie Eagles and Taiji Ishimori. Chris Sabin and Kushida versus Shingo Takagi. Yo Show versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Being the elite episode 121 can be found in this link. And I'll go into highlights. Kenny Omega and Cody head into the Young Bucks dressing room and notice Nick and Matt are rocking scarves these days. They start trashing them and they say that they're going to destroy both guys on Chris Jericho's cruise. The camera swings around and Jericho has been standing behind Nick and Matt the whole entire time. Jericho says to never insult the scarf. They were especially made for the Bucks. Omega says they probably came from a dollar store anyways. Cody gives him a high five. Cody yells he's going to get Marty's girl, and Marty is coming for them. Omega and Cody leave. Jericho just locks the door so they can't come back in. Skrull, Nick, and Matt talk about their latest long travel days. A couple days later, Nick and Matt bump into SCU, SoCal Uncensored, who also had a long travel day. Matt and Nick make a mistake of asking SCU what they like about Southern California, and the group can't stop with reason. They like the area. Everywhere Nick and Matt go, they bump into Daniel, Scorpio, and Kazarian. In Japan, Skrull tells Matt that they need to do more team bonding and want to hold a party on New Year's Day. Matt seems reluctant because on January 1st, Matt says that will be a tricky day because he doesn't know what he'll be doing. Matt can't commit. Skrull gets bothered. Matt freaks out and says everybody keeps asking about that day and just wants to be left alone. Could that be the possible day that they have will be joining WWE, or will they be doing the All In too? SCU continues to bother Matt and Nick about SCU is the best. The Bucks finally tell SCU that they are actually from Southern California. Two men end up doing the same thing to them by showing up at random places to tell them why it's an awesome area. Adam Page watches the last episode on two screens, and he sees Kenny Omega getting the same notes from H that he's received. Who is this H? Could it be Triple H? Just H. Or could it be Hollywood? Hulk Hogan, Triple H. Nick and Matt in the dressing room both hear the ticking clock and the countdown on their phones. Matt gives Nick a nod. Kazarian busts into the room with another SCU fact and then stops as the countdown continues to tick away. We're from backstage at tonight's SmackDown 1000 event from Washington, D.C. at the hometown star. Batista was arriving late arriving. According to PW Insider, Batista is set to reunite with Evolution tonight with Triple H, Randy Orton, and Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, the dude, are backstage at SmackDown 1000. The former Edgeheads could be appearing on tonight's show because of their history with WWE Hall of Famer Edge, who is also scheduled to appear. But they wasn't used on SmackDown together. And Zack Ryder was used on the tapings for your I forgot what it's called. Other matches and what have you. And for those who are wondering, WWE did not bring the SmackDown Piss set up for tonight's special episode. And you can see an early shot here at this link from the inside of the Capital One Arena below. I think there are two pictures on that page. The Rock will not be appearing live on SmackDown episode of Washington, D.C. as the Great One tweeted the following congratulatory comments to WWE on the show. At The Rock, huge, hashtag ST1000, congrats to my at WWE family. Fun fact, in 1988, I said to at Vince McMahon, I'm going to use the word SmackDown tonight in my promo. He said, what's that mean? I said, it means I'm going to whoop some butt. He belly laughed and said it. The rest was history. If you smell, and then that was the end of it. Hashtag if you smell. And the following matches for your 205 live episode. Spoilers. Akira Tozawa defeated Drew Gulak by disqualification after interference from Jack Gallagher. Brian Kendrick made a save. Tony Nese won a fatal 5-way over TJP, Graham Metallic, Leo Rush, and Cedric Alexander. 1000th episode of SmackDown starts off with a lengthy video package with highlights from over the years. Live from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. We're joined in by Byron Saxon, Corey Graves. The Tattooed Fool. We go to the ring for the second episode of The Truth TV, as R-Truth is in the ring with Carmella. He's taking the place of Miz TV. Truth acts like there have been many memories on Truth TV over the years, but Carmella reminds him that this is only the only second episode. Truth calls for a dance break. Fans want another. Truth goes to introduce the first guest, but he just breaks out in another dance break with Carmella. Carmella says it's time to really bring out the first guest. The music hits and out comes Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie thanks them for the introduction, and Truth acts surprised as he's got his cue cards, reading the cue cards. Stephanie says she was the first general manager of SmackDown, and she had a vision. And it's wonderful to see that vision come together on the 1000th episode of SmackDown. Stephanie then tells Truth to go ahead. Truth is about to ask the first question, but the music interrupts, and out comes SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon making his return. Shane officially welcomes everyone to SmackDown 1000 and asks what's up. Shane talks about how the opening video played with the memories and how tonight would be possible without the fans. Shane thanks the fans in attendance and the viewers around the world. And Stephanie was back behind him doing like that all sucks. Shane thanks the fans in attendance and viewers around the world for making SmackDown and WWE as a whole a success every week. Stephanie knocked the fans for buying Shane's lines. Shane welcomes her to the A show. Stephanie talks Raw up and says they would never start the night off with Truth TV. Fans are chanting for Truth TV. Shane goes on about how they give people chances and what they want to see on SmackDown. Music interrupts, out comes WWE Chairman Vincent Kennedy McMahon doing his power walk. The boss marches to the ring for a pop. Vince says no one wants to see Shane and Stephanie argue. They want to be entertained. Vince goes on about entertainment, and fans give them the what treatment. Stephanie says he has his hearing aid in tonight. It's fine. He can hear. No worries. Vince calls for a dance break, and everyone in the ring starts dancing, even Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So to come second, Rey Mysterio returns to face Shinsuke Nakamura in a World Cup qualifier. Also Becky Lynch. Charlotte will also be on the cutting edge with the Hall of Famer Edge. We also see the reunion of Evolution. And apparently Batista hasn't arrived at that time yet. Thus they have it late. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos was the first match of the night. And in my thing, it was the match of the night. We go to the ring, out comes WWE Champion AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan's music hits, and as AJ is still walking to the ring, Bryan hits the ring and poses for the yes chant from the crowd. As we go back to commercial, back from the break, out comes the Usos, as it was advertised as Samoa Joe and I think it was Miz. So there you go, card subject change. Well, Jimmy and Jay coming to the ring. Greg Hamilton does ring introductions as Bryan and AJ await. Bryan starts off with Jay and they shake hands. They lock up and Bryan takes control. Bryan drops Jay with his shoulder. Bryan keeps control and rolls Jay up for a 2 count. They trade shots in the middle of the ring. Jimmy tags in and they double team Bryan for a 2 count. Bryan turns around on the nose with kicks in the corner. Jimmy quickly turns around, but Bryan takes him back down and tags in Styles. Styles focuses on Jimmy's leg, kicking it. AJ grounds Jimmy as the fans chant his name. AJ kicks the leg out, but Jimmy still manages to make the tag. AJ misses a big shot in the corner, and Jay covers for a close 2 count. Jay unloads on AJ for a few minutes. Jay whips AJ hard chest first into the turnbuckles, and he goes down. AJ catches Jay in the calf crusher out of nowhere. Jimmy runs in to break it up, and Brian meets him with a yes lock. The Usos get to the ropes simultaneously and break the holds. Going to the floor to regroup, we go to commercial with AJ and Brian standing tall in the ring. Back for the break, as they had the side commercial and action going on. As Brian tags in, as well as Jay, Brian unloads and takes it to the corner with kicks. Brian also leaps out and nails a dive to Jimmy on the floor. Brian goes to the top and nails a missile drop kick to Jay in the ring. Bray kips up for a pop. Brian with a yes kicks to Jay while he's on his knees. Brian connects with a roundhouse kick, but Jimmy breaks up the pin. Styles tries to hit Jimmy with a phenomenal forearm, but misses. Brian ends up running into AJ with a forearm, and the confusion leads to Jimmy hitting a super kick on AJ after Brian ducked it. Usos follow up with a double super kick to Brian for the pin to win. And to stare down as AJ and Daniel in the ring, setting up their match for later on in the year. Also after the match, Usos begin the celebration. We go to replays. We see various photos of SmackDown moments over the years as their music plays. SmackDown General Manager Paige backstage with Vicky and Hall of Famer Teddy Long. People Power also walks in, John Laurinaitis, and he gets in the way. Vicky yells at him, "Excuse me," to end the segment. Still to come, the New Day defends against the Bar. Also, Evolution reunites back to commercial. Back for the break, it's time for the reunion of Evolution. Apparently, Batista has arrived. Music hits as the group comes out to the stage. Randy Orton, Batista, Triple H, and Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Triple H takes the mic and touts 1,000 episodes for the Blue Brand. He asks how you accomplish something like that by constantly evolving. How do you celebrate something so monumental as 1,000 episodes? You bring together one group that epitomizes the word evolution. Flair takes the mic next and starts wooing about the 1,000th episode of SmackDown. Orton says coming down the aisle and hearing that music brought back memories. Orton says evolution was just a start for him because he kept evolving. Orton says while Triple H has been running the show, while Flair has lived vicariously through his daughter's achievements, and while Batista has spent more time in a makeup chair than in the ring. He's been busting his butt to make a name for himself and to cement his legacy. And that's exactly what he plans on doing. And even Batista does a little smile for a little bit. Some chants chant for Batista as he takes the mic. Batista admits he's nervous, but it's because it's been a while since he was in a ring. But he goes, he's going to enjoy it and ignore what Orton just said. Batista said people know he doesn't want this microphone in his hand, but he thought about what he wanted to say on this auspicious occasion. He thought of four things. He wanted to be here tonight because it celebrates 1,000 episodes of the brand he's proud to say he helped build. He also wanted to be here because we're in his hometown, Washington, D.C., where he grew up as a poor kid. That was number two. Now he is speaking to all of us, and it's a dream come true. The third reason is the fans here around the world, whether you booed him or you called him Bootista or Bluetista. Entertain, whatever you call him, he still loves you and wanted nothing else but to entertain you. Batista said he gave the fans his all. He didn't care if he won or he lost. He just wanted to entertain every night. You're welcome, he says. Fourth reason, but not the least important reason, is these guys, Evolution. Batista goes on about how special Evolution is and how the energy changes when they walk in. He says it hasn't been done before, hasn't been done since, and won't be done again. This is special, he says. Batista praises Orton and how they all knew he was special when they first saw him. Batista says Orton has more talent in his pinky than most of the guys who have stepped in the ring. Orton just, he takes that. And then Batista then praises the Nature Boy next, and they have some laughs. But then Batista praises Triple H next for his in-ring work and for running the business, changing the business. Batista says there's nothing Triple H hasn't done except beat him. Fans pop as Triple H gets serious, and he has a stare down with Batista, almost face to face. Orton eats it up and watches from behind. Flair gets in the middle of them, separating Triple H and Batista. Triple H then hugs Batista, and they have some friendly words as the Evolution music starts back up. Triple H is smiling, but he's bothered by Batista's comment. They all exchange hugs as the music continues, because he wants to return to WWE, and he wants to face Triple H. Why not? Have one-on-one. For the first time and last time. Career versus career. You heard it here first. Still to come segment. Undertaker's here. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Tom shows us The Rock's tweet from earlier that I gave you. World Cup qualifying match. Rusev versus The Miz. Hall of Famer Raw General Manager Kurt Angle is on commentary as Rusev and The Miz already in the ring. Lana is at ringside. The bell rings and Rusev immediately levels Miz. They go back and forth for just a moment until Aiden English tries to interfere. Miz takes advantage and comes from behind, rolling Rusev up for the quick win to advance in the World Cup. After the match, Lana approaches English at ringside, low blows him with a big chop. Even my brother liked that segment. Rusev attacked English and destroyed him at ringside. Rusev stabs and tosses English over the announce table to end the segment. Walked off. Kurt Hawkins backstage with Edge for a mini Edge reunion. The announcers wonder where Zack Ryder is. Still to come. Cutting Edge back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes WWE Hall of Famer Edge for a special edition of Cutting Edge. Tony Schimmel is brought out back to do the introduction. Edge says it doesn't get any bigger than SmackDown 1000 and he just had to be here. He says SmackDown always felt like his show. And talks about some of the biggest moments from the Blue Brand, including the no DQ match with WWE Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero, and the crowd started chanting for Eddie. Edge also mentions marrying and divorcing. Well, he just says marrying Vicky, and the crowd booed. And then he comments on divorcing. Oh, by the way, I also divorced Vicky, and the crowd popped again. Edge says SmackDown really means something to him. He's been watching the last few weeks and noticed something he had to come and address. It says the Rated R Superstar is going to attempt to be SmackDown's moral compass tonight. As strange as it sounds, Edge introduces his first guest, SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Fan chant for Becky as she enters the ring. And she's got the face pop from the crowd. Edge thanks her for coming and is happy that she's here. Edge says he couldn't help but notice how he and Becky have a lot of similarities. Becky says Edge is one of the people she modeled her career after, and she appreciates him having her on the show. Becky says clearly Edge sees what she sees. Edge agrees and hopes that she will hear him out. Edge goes on about how he wasn't supposed to be in the main event or be on the posters. He had to scratch and bite for every inch he got in the company, just like Becky. Fan chant, you deserve it now. Edge says Becky didn't make the right choice in throwing away her friendship with Charlotte. Edge says he made those same choices because he crushed any friendships that got in his way to the top. He left a trail of burnt bridges. Edge says Becky can win all the titles she wants. Her face can be on all the posters she wants. But the choices she makes will define her and stain her soul. Edge says the end result of choices she's making now will end with Becky sitting in her home, staring at the titles on the wall, reminiscing about all of her accomplishments by herself. Edge says the kicker is that Becky won't even like herself. Becky says Edge is right. She doesn't really like herself. And she goes into almost like a moment of silence with her head down. Fan chant for Becky. Becky adds, I love my... When he comes back up, put your head up. I love myself. So you're right. I don't like myself. I love myself. She tells Edge to stop being so condescending to the champ and get out of her ring. Becky tells Edge to be careful and try not to hurt his neck again going through the ropes. Music interrupts and out comes Flair. Flair asks Becky if she really had to go there. Flair tells Edge all Becky cares about is the title on her shoulder. Flair mentions Becky running away from her at Super Showdown last week. Flair enters the ring now and ends up tackling Becky, giving her a spear. They brawl around the mat as referee and officials hit the ring to break them up as they cut back to commercial. Well, in the ring was Adam Pearce, Jamie Noble, Finley, and several other referees trying to separate them. As they brawl, and they cut to backstage with Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy talking. Rey will be in action tonight as they are set to tag team next week. Back from the break, we get the third set of photos from various SmackDown moments over the years. SmackDown Tag Team title match, The Bar versus New Day. We go to the ring, out comes SmackDown champions, The New Day. Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. New Day's usual custom announce table is being occupied by two WWE Hall of Famers, Booker T and Jerry Lawler, who are out at the announce table now. As they did have a double announce table for that. Out next comes The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Woods starts off with Sheamus as the match starts off. Sheamus drops Woods with a shoulder and Big E watches from the apron and Kofi looks on from the floor. Woods turns it around and hits a low drop kick for a 2 count. Lawler and Booker take over on commentary, but only for a minute or two. Cesaro tags in and stops away on Woods in the corner. The Bar keeps control with a double team move in the middle of the ring. Cesaro and Sheamus taunt their opponents and stand tall over Woods as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Cesaro tags in as does Big E. Big E unloads with suplexes and a splash. Sheamus gets dumped and misses a bro kick. Cesaro gets dropped on his skull for a close 2 count. Big E keeps control and ends up knocking Sheamus off the apron with a big spear. Back and forth for a few minutes. Woods with a Shining Wizard to Cesaro for a close 2 count. More back and forth between the two sides, in and out of the ring. Cesaro takes advantage of the chaos with a neutralizer on Woods. Cesaro covers for the titles, but Woods breaks it up just in time. We go back to commercial. We come back, and Big E places Cesaro on the top turnbuckle. Big E works Cesaro over and climbs up for the superplex. Cesaro resists, and Sheamus tags in. Sheamus hits Big E in the back and goes under him for the power bomb. Cesaro comes off the top with an uppercut and brings Big E down with a close 2 count. As Kobe breaks it up from outside while their feet were on the ropes. Cesaro comes from behind and drops Kobe on the floor. Woods leaps out on the floor, but the Bar catches him and sends him into the barrier. The Bar clears the announce table where Lawler and Booker are at now. Music suddenly hits and out comes Big Show for a pop. Show marches to the ring and he looks angry. Show stares the Bar down and they back away from him. Big E helps Kobe up but turns and grabs him by his throat. Big Show choke slams Kobe through the announce table. Big E turns around from watching Big Show and Sheamus hit him with a bro kick for the pin to win the titles. Apparently there was no disqualification match. Referee was watching, but didn't disqualify him. Anyways, winners of the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar. After the match, Show enters the ring, stands tall with The Bar. Go to replays, Big Show and The Bar celebrate with title changes. Hands as the music plays, and Big Show also raises their hands. More photos from SmackDown episodes over the years. We get a pre-recorded video from John Cena. He talks about how SmackDown came along. And my buddy Robert came over to watch the rest of SmackDown. Came in late. And he noticed John Cena with his new haircut. He's got a little bit of hair and with it poured it to the side. And he talks about how SmackDown came along thanks to The Rock and gave new talents chances, including a kid who came to the ring and smacked Kurt Angle. Cena joked that he regrets slapping Angle, but he does not regret starting his career on the blue brand. World Cup qualifying match, Rey Mysterio versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We go to the ring for tonight's main event. Out comes Rey Mysterio. Back to commercial, back from the break. Out comes U.S. Champions Nakamura with his Nakamerica. Championship belt. But it's not on the line. The final WWE World Cup qualifier. The bell rings and they get a feel for each other. Nakamura drops Ray and goes to work. Nakamura with a big knee to the jaw for a 2 count. Nakamura keeps control and grabs Ray looking for a guillotine choke. Ray catches Nakamura and turns it around. But Nakamura drops a knee to the gut to cut him off. Nakamura then takes Ray back to the mat and he drives his knees into him. Nakamura misses the kick and gets dropped into the ropes. Ray goes for a 619, but Nakamura escapes to the floor. Ray was shots to Nakamura before running the ropes, flying under the bottom rope for a splash on the floor. Fan chant, "You still got it," at Ray. Ray brings Nakamura back into the ring, but Nakamura turns it upside down in the corner for the Tree of Woe and kicks him. Referee backs Nakamura off and warns him as Ray recovers. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Ray is going to work on Nakamura. Ray goes to the top, but Nakamura cuts him off. Nakamura climbs up and places Ray on his shoulders while up high. Ray fights it off and brings Nakamura to the mat with a Hurricane Rana. Ray covers for a 2 count. Nakamura ends up turning it around with a big counter. Nakamura places Ray on the top turnbuckle and delivers a high knee for a 2 count. Nakamura with more offense. He goes for a Kasacha, but Ray rolls him up for a 2 count. Nakamura drops Ray and goes for a Kasacha again, but it's blocked. Ray drops Nakamura into position, hits the 619 for a big pop, and follows up, drops the dime, and covers the dime splash. Covers Nakamura for the non-title win to earn the final World Cup spot. After the match, Ray stands tall with his music playing. The announcer is hyping the World Cup when the bell tolls and lights go out. Ray looks on as The Undertaker begins to make his grand entrance. Announces Float, DX versus Brothers of Destruction at WWE Crown Jewel. The Taker marches to the ring. Not much of this segment. Taker takes the mic and span chant his name. Taker says at Crown Jewel, some fans start booing. He will have 3 words for DX. Rest in peace. That's it. That ends SmackDown. Music starts back up. Taker looks around the arena. Taker heads up the ramp. Stops at stage. Turns his face around. Back up. Does this. That's it. That was the end of SmackDown. Mixed match challenge results. Bobby Lashley and Mickie James with Lio Rush versus Natalya and Bobby Roode. Both Mickie and Natalya get a Bobby chant going for their respective partners. Natalya puts her cat ears on Lashley. He flexes. He takes them off and then stomps him. Roode goes for the roll up for a 2 count. Immediately, Roode tries for some punches in the corner. Doesn't have much luck. Lashley launches him across the ring. Roode tags out. Natalya and Mickie are in. Mickie sent into the corner. Back elbow on Natalya. Hurricane Rana lands. But Natalya gets up and hits a clothesline herself. At Totally Accepts says that Natty by nature is doing great things. Backstage, Miz and Asuka getting ready for their match against Lana and Rusev. Back inside the ring, Natalya kicks Mickey's kick. Slams her down face first. Hits a low drop kick, covers for a 2. Natalya goes for a tag, but Mickie knocks her down. When she turns her back, Mickie with some kicks in the back. Mickie whips Natalya down to the mat by her hair, covers and gets a 2 count. Both back up and collide in the center of the ring. Both tag out. Roode swings away on Lashley. Kick to the chest, clothesline hits. But Lashley hits a back body drop. Lashley runs into a kick. Roode with a blockbuster off the second rope. Pin gets a 2 count. At WWE said on Twitter says, stereo sharpshooters from Team Paws. Hashtag Team Paws. Because that's who their team they're going for. Also hashtag WWMC. At Real Bobby Roode. At Nat by Nature. Roode's up top. Bobby Lashley catches him and sends him across the ring. Lashley lines up his opponent for a spear, but goes into the ring post on the other side of the ring. Roode looks for the DDT. Mickie comes in, smacks his hand out. Natalya comes in and argues with her. Double sharpshooters in the middle of the ring. Mickie taps out, but she's not the legal partner. So, ref gets him out of the ring. Rush with a distraction on Roode. Roode tries for the glorious DDT. Nope. Spear by Lashley. And that'll do it. Winner by pinfall, Bobby Lashley and Mickie James. Next week, Finn Balor and Bailey versus Bobby Roode and Natalya. Backstage, Bailey and Finn Balor say it will be glorious when they defeat Roode and Natalya next week. Also backstage, Kelly Braxton talks with Natalya and Roode. Natalya tells her partners to stay positive and they will get the win next week. Roode apologizes and says he thinks they still have a chance. And will be, as Asuka interrupts and says, "We will win," and she heads out for her match. The Miz and Asuka versus Rusev and Lana. Asuka and Lana get things started. Asuka dodges Lana and does a little dance. Lana returns fire with a dance of her own. Asuka gets a high five and then hammers Lana. Lana tossed into the corner. Axe kick drops Asuka. Spins back up to her feet. Crowd with Lana is the best. Lana number 1. Miz gets up on the second turnbuckle and yells, "I'm the best." Crowd boos that. Asuka tries it and gets cheered big time. They start going around and around with the crowd cheering everybody, but Miz, Rusev and Lana go for a kiss and then point to Miz and Asuka. Miz says, "I'm married," and they both go for kicks. Both are caught and Asuka and Miz are sent out to the floor. I wonder if Miz knows that Maurice has a dating profile on one of the dating sites that I'm on. And just recently posted a picture of her and Miz together. Rusev goes for a dive, but Miz pulls Asuka in front of him. Lana then hits crossbody off the ropes, taking out both opponents. Backstage, R-Truth and Carmella in Facebook comments. Rusev and Miz back in. Rusev drops Miz. Looks for a big kick. Nope. Miz tries to skull crushing finale. Nope. Countered. Rusev lands a kick. Miz flips out of the back suplex, chop block, and he tags in Asuka. Both Rusev and Lana try to lock in submissions. Miz gets clothesline out of the ring. Lana tries for a cover on Asuka, gets a 2 count. Trinity accepts comments, accolade face buzzer by Lana. WWE. Lana looks to finish off Asuka. Miz grabs the mic and does Aiden English's intro, confusing Lana and Rusev. Miz gets chased and dropped by Rusev. Asuka takes out Rusev with a hip attack. Lana sends Asuka out to the floor, but puts the accolade on Miz. Asuka back in, misses a kick. Lana with a face buster covers, but Miz pulls Lana off. Asuka. Lana pokes and then slaps Miz. Asuka comes in from behind to get the Asuka lock on Lana as she taps out. Winners of the match, Miz and Asuka by submission. Next week, got Jimmy Uso and Naomi versus Miz and Asuka. Also, Balor and Bailey versus Roode and Natalya. So you got standings: SmackDown, AJ Styles and Charlotte 2-0. Miz and Asuka 2-0. Jimmy Uso and Naomi 1-1. Rusev and Lana 0-2. R-Truth and Carmella 0-2. From the Raw brand, Braun Strowman and Ember Moon 2-0. Lashley and Mickie James 2-0. Finn Balor and Bailey 1-0. Bobby Roode and Natalya 0-2. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox 0-2. And that concludes my results for SmackDown, 205 Live, and Mixed Match Challenge. Thanks and peace out. See you on video. If you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters. And that's the bottom line, because Tommy says so.